As you can see, I realize that when I take a shower, I like to shoot a short video. You know, sometimes when I don't shoot a short video, I begin to get sweaty and smudgy. You know, I can actually see how depressing it has become after a certain time that I've played. I can actually feel I'm melting away. You know, to be all disgusting. I can feel it. Our life, there's our life. You know, there's we little team. You know, we little making it out. We little purpose. You know, one B. You know, so now focus about myself and knowing, you know, what it is to like actually do about myself. So let me try to keep on a little part here and see if God's word could enlighten this live stream that we're doing here at the 6 o'clock angelic prayer time, you know, with God. So I'm literally on my knees still, and I find like all these words is bottled up inside of me to get to God. So I decided to record it, you know. So in time past, I can look at it and know like what time and what age and what kind of contract living in. You know, right now I cannot like actually observe this because it's what it is I'm manifesting in a way. You know, so words you know, words is kind of hard to put together because you want to be a magician, man, meaning you want to put a blue screen and you want to do a backflip, or you want to have a big chest, or you want to flash a gold chain, or you want to roll up with a Rolls Royce, you know, or you want to shoot a music video, or you want to be live streaming with 2 to 3 million people who giving super chats and super stickies. I mean, living a famous life or a rich life or an independent life. I mean, how dope it is. That mugshot would us capture this face and face about 5 to 10 years. You're different. You're full of lush. You know, you're full of beauty. You're full of, you know, all kind of, you know, designer and expenses. You know, I serious. You know, clothes. Literally, $500,000 is spent in US dollars on a car. You know, if we look in the projects and we see a house for $180,000, and we watch somebody living on the side of the road, and we have to study like how I in this life I inheritance to get. I don't know about my father background if he had any inheritance to get, but that is how my tree bark is. You know, my father, my mother, I am. That's it. That's all I know. I don't know nothing about God, and I don't know nothing about grandmother and grandfather, the aunt and the uncle and the cousins and the neighbors that be around. You know, is that when everything moves, everything moves. You know, together with it. You know, it's like life or whisper or hope. I mean, God explains it the best way. Is that your soul is that you dies, your soul returns to that. I'm talking for true. I'm talking for life. But I mean, guys, my mom and my dad ain't have, you know, what it takes to be who I is. They ain't have what it takes to be half the child that I become. You know, I become the child that they was hardened and stubborn. I mean, life is so crazy, yeah? But inside of my life, that if you're a kid, how you could be a gangster, how you could be a thug, how you could be a delinquent, how you could get F grades. You know what I mean? But what's good? How your parents is, your mother and your father is. that you reach a certain height and age, like 11, and going to 16, you're going through stuff that you don't understand. But you end up there somehow. But what your mother and your father good. They literally passed through something like that. But you never did that. You know? Them pass through that and make you thereafter. Which comes high, right? Whole sense when my mom and my dad, have my life, I remember after 5 years, 3 years deep, no more. So in a sense, that God passed in my life and he showed me, well, your mother and your father living in the way that they live in. But when I get up, to be like 7 and 10 years, I feel a change in my life. I have to actually live the standard that I normally live. I tell you, I have to live a standard that I doesn't live. So for me, the change was, it wasn't outside in the world. It wasn't in my like it in my head now. It was that I had to live and try to live whilst I living. So in other words, I can't walk the streets and then expect to get bounced. A car would bounce me down. You know, if I wear on jewelry or fashionable clothes, they would think that my family rich and they go want to kidnap me. So I can't roll around in the way that I want to roll around. So I had to be locked up. you know. And the thing is that the public doesn't want you to be locked up. You want to be involved in the public and you want to show the public that you have a fashionable sense about life. So my desire for fashion and the optimism of how to become famous and celebrityishly rich, it wasn't to gain entry to the award and the nominating class of life, but it was just to prove to society, to myself, and to the others that are wrong, that I have a fashionable sense of being celebrityishly rich. Meaning like famously rich. You know, but I didn't want to do it. Without the true child that I really was, because the purpose of getting rich, it wasn't for me. You know, I had to get rich in the sense of my mother not giving me riches, and without my father giving me riches. You know, so I had nobody to actually lean on to get rich from. You know, in my life, when I get the sense that I want to get rich, is how I know myself. That I would go inside of the church, and the church would say it had this ungodly way, and it had this richest thing that is be happening that you know how to do, but I never learned about it. Nobody never told me about what was happening to me. I came home in the easy burden with Jesus, the Christ in me, the body and the blood. And I started to learn what was the accumulating of wealth. I followed different products, different strategies, different trends, different learning, different memes, different celebrity places, different millions, different billions of dollars. I followed the limited amount, the unlimited amount of knowledge of getting rich that I could follow. How to be wealthy, what is being wealthy. I followed all of that. I challenged myself to know if I was doing something like that. And what I can find out is that in all of that whole space, I don't have nothing like that. So I studying how can I have it? You know? So so I went on this journey, with my mind to see if I was capable of performing this. And when I did it more and more and more, and I realized that the wealth I was getting It wasn't, no, it wasn't the wealth that I expect to get. You know, I never expect to get, you know, the minimum amount. I expected the maximum amount, but it had to be there already. You know, so when time began to kick in slowly, I keep I keep falling down, down my nose to look for glory of the Lord, and sneakers and the childhood life that you used to live. I keep looking for it, and I will always consider it to be rich. You know, so I came up with a plan, a strategy. I came up with this plan to make myself get one thing: money. Money became my goal. I wanted to target money because I wanted to know what having plenty money was like. You know, what was it worth to not have work and have money. You know, and once I tried to do something like that, I always winded up on one thing: that was becoming famous. I always ended up on a trend that becoming famous. You know, so I will always try to adapt to the famous life as fast as I start adapting. So every time me to be a businessman, every time me to be famous, I will adapt it. Every time me to engage in a crowd, I will engage in it. Every time me to stand out in a crowd, I will stand out in a crowd. Every time me to adapt to the sense of what the trend is. You know, like how to be on the floor. I would do it. You know, so my mind, it keeps studying who then wants to block a $500 sneakers from you having from your family. You know, it has somebody that's want to block it, right? But the thing is, you get me. You know, so I follow a trend. So just say, I follow a trend. I follow a trend in life, and make money and get it, they go win. This is the currency of my country, the Trinidad and Tobago dollars. Fashionable dollars. Fashionable dollars. You know, fashionable dollars. Post valuable content. In other words, don't post pleasurable content, which would bring about poverty. So value your content. So in here, what my prize and my possession with YouTube was, it was to show value, desire for YouTube. You know, so I opened YouTube 2017 and I kept it closed. 2023, I opened it back, but I closed it back. But then June 25th, I opened it back. And this is August where it is, and finding a niche about what it is I want to trend and what it is I want to do is where I need to work at. So I'm a kid who been on the hustle. I've been on the muscle, I've been grinding. Oh, I've been trying to get my dimes, my nickels. So in this state of life, I forget about YouTube, you know. to actually post content, you know, which is like get through for cash, show a stunt of a dollar, and make a leverage of how my performance is, at the event, you know. So in how much time pass that I always holding something valuable in my life. So I studying what value I have to show to YouTube right now. I had this dollar. This dollar is a valuable content. Yeah, it smells good, but it's not $100. No, 100 US dollars. Now the thing is, I'm gonna show you how crazy I just get concerning this. When this come to bend and wind and go wrong with my life, it just get crazy. You know, things will start to go. But I'm not offline. That's the thing. I online, which part it a value that linked to my name. So if YouTube were valuable content, then I'ma get them valuable content. You know? So so how much key phrases or words to wrap around YouTube to Google AI my product, my product of being capable of doing something. So how much of a desire is to drop something like this dollar? How much? How much dollars I had to drop there? How much? I don't have enough dollars to drop here because it ain't valuable enough. You know. So I wanna figure out something. I wanna figure out.
It was real nastiness. You don't send them bed?
I send them to bed right here all the time.
No,
No
but in the
water on the
bathroom?
bed. Yeah, that water on the bed, but I don't want any pipe, tiny bucket.
Call her go bed. Because I tell to come bed for things.
So posting valuable content is what we need to do. It's what I need to do to win here. It's a challenge. You know, YouTube challenging me to actually drop valuable content here. The thing is, I don't have valuable content. Around everything that I have around, it don't have no value. Nothing. That's like that's like the worst. That's like the worst thing. It's like it's like what I had in my head about YouTube. YouTube doesn't monetize straight out the go. Hmm. Then I feel as if I might as well quit while I can. Quit while I had at it. Because I don't think God is in this to prosper. Without value, my content ain't going and going and be far. I don't have no super luxurious life to actually go from. I mean, who wants to look at is the option to have valuable content?